I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing while Deputy Mayor Sarah leads us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. We ask that you watch over our meeting and help us to always work together. We ask that you watch over and protect everyone who is impacted by Hurricane Dorian so that they are safe and that they can rebuild their lives as fast as possible. Amen.
Can you remain standing, please?
Up, down, up, down.
And you thought it was going to be pickleball. I need a moment of silence for a great institution that's getting demolished right now. The Rod and Reel. So, have a little silence for the Rod. God bless America.
How are you?
Oh, yeah? Yep.
We've been mine.
Johnson, you're one of them. Okay, welcome to our meeting, September 4th. Lynn, would you read that little notice, please?
City Council, City of Brigantine reserves the... Oh, never mind, that's the wrong one. Starting off with good.
Okay.
Should be able to say. Well, I'll just fudge it here. This meeting has been posted and published under the Open Public Meetings Act, and everything has been published. That's it.
That was pretty bad.
That was good, wasn't it?
Okay, we didn't have any executive session. Thanks, Leah. Right? I just want to announce that our city manager's on vacation, and Roxanne is sitting in for him. Thanks, Roxanne. Okay, I need approval of August 21st council meetings and executive session. So move.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
View?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I need a first and second on approvals for the payroll and operating expenses.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
View?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'm going to open up the meeting to the public. Anything you want to talk about on the agenda, please come up and to the microphone. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion. Okay. Ordinance number 16 of 2019, public hearing and adoption, creating a Garden Club Advisory Board. Need a first and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'm going to open that up to the public. Anybody want to talk about the Garden Club Advisory Board? Yes, Mrs. Phillips.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street. I'm a member of the Garden Club also. However, I'm standing here as a single commentator because I have a different perspective. And I have mentioned it before, but this is the time for the public hearing on this ordinance. So, please explain this ordinance's contradiction in its purpose. Quote, this board shall act in an advisory capacity to council, but shall also exercise the following legal powers: to plan, organize, and maintain city-owned flower beds, parks, and other designated locations at the direction of council and directed by the Public Works Director. Also, the board shall make recommendations to council regarding planning and planting of flowers and shrubs in city flower beds and parks. Anything so recommended is not effective until approved by council and directed by the Public Works Director. I'm quoting the wordage that is in the ordinance, which sometimes I don't think is as clear as it should be. This ordinance is more than advisory. It has legal powers. The names of volunteers shall be submitted to the city manager annually or when volunteers change. And this board may recruit volunteers to assist on projects. How do the gardeners, the volunteers, fit into such a tightly regulated legal arrangement? What decision-making participation by those who weed, plant, and attend meetings is allowed in this ordinance? The ordinance weighs heavily in favor of government control over that of the volunteers. It's at variance with the original intentions and history of the successful apolitical volunteer-run Brigantine Garden Club. Thank you.
Thank you. Roxanne, you want to comment on any of that? Or Fred? No? Okay. Okay. Any comments or concerns? I'm sorry, anybody else from the public? Patricia.
Patrizia Violante, 239 12th Street South in Brigantine. I'm currently president of the Garden Club. I'd just like to point out that we all know that the Garden Club volunteers have full control of everything, because without them, there is no Garden Club, there are no beds, there are no plants, there very little work would be done. So I don't think we have to worry about who controls what. That is the perspective that I bring, and that is the perspective that most of the members of the Garden Club bring. We're very pleased to be working with the city. We think we can accomplish a lot more than we have, because we have certain concerns that have now been obliterated with having the umbrella of the city. And so we are appreciative, we are grateful actually, of the appreciation that you have shown for the work that is done by the Garden Club. We're appreciative for the concern that you have shown for the members of the Garden Club through the insurance program. And we are looking forward to working together with you, and especially with Mr. Doring, who is a wonderful person, as all of you are, and to continue working with Roxanne, who has been a great help throughout this. And that's all I have to say, both personally and on behalf of most of the Garden Club.
Thank you.
Gina Bergen, 407 West Shore. I just want to let you all know that the Garden Club will be celebrating 40 years. It started with 10 gals and, I guess, husbands, and it started, and it just has bloomed. And
No pun intended.
I just get so many, compliments, and, with the city and John and everybody here with Brigantine. It really is complimenting to hear, and I just want to let you know, we're going to have a party 40 years next year.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion. Anybody from council have any comments or concerns?
Mayor, I'd just like to say, first of all, I just want to tip my cap year after year for the great job that the Garden Club does. And as far as what Mrs. Phillips was saying, I think you're maybe reading too much into it, ma'am. I mean, they basically are just acting within the framework of the ordinance and the various laws governing the municipality, the various state laws governing what the municipality can do with volunteer organizations. Thank you.
Anybody else from council?
Yeah, just one or two things. Although I'm a volunteer with the Garden Club, I'm not speaking in that capacity. And I'm actually not even that concerned with the specific ordinance that's in front of us, which is limited to the Garden Club, because Garden Club members, made a knowing election of which direction they wanted to go, and that's fine. I have no objection or issue with that. My concern is more of a macro concern. The Garden Club is but one of a number, as we all know, of organizations in town that perform various functions for the city, which the city might otherwise either not get performed or would have to find the ability to do through its own employees and forces. So obviously, the volunteerism is wonderful, and it works across the board in all these different groups. We've been talking up here fitfully for about the last 7 years about what needs to be done to formalize and legalize the relationship between the city and the various organizations. What we're proposing to do with the Garden Club is one direction that one can go. And I know we focused a lot of our discussion of these past two meetings, and in between I've had a dialogue with Jim and Roxanne and our insurance consultant. We focused on the insurance aspect of it, which, however, important to the Garden Club people, is not the thing that should be driving it. What should be driving it is the knowledge that, and I think it's been acknowledged in the presentation that was made by city officials to the Garden Club a couple months back, we need to, once and for all, come up with a structure, or perhaps several structures, if that's something that works better for the individual entities involved, to formalize this relationship between the city and the groups. Everything I've seen points to the utility of a shared services agreement. That seems to me to be a vehicle that works in every respect to accomplish the goals of allowing the city to get done and to maximize through volunteers, those functions which we'd otherwise have to pay for, and also to allow the people or the entities that provide those services to maintain their autonomy. In a shared services agreement, we would have, and it doesn't matter what the group is or what it is exactly they're doing for the city, but we would specify in a shared services agreement, this is what you do for the city, here's what the city is going to do, whether it is a cash contribution or some other means of compensation, and specifying, the supervision of, or the direction from the city overall. To me, that's a vehicle that works. I hope that the kind of unique circumstances that affect the Garden Club and the decision that they've made doesn't end up steering us in that same direction for each and every of the other organizations and away from a shared services model, because there's a lot of reasons why I think that would be a misguided course, not the least of which is if all of the organizations that now do volunteer work had to give up their autonomy, and they would have to in order to be treated under the same sort of approach that we're taking with the Garden Club, I think that's going to have serious negative implications for the city and for the ability of the groups to do the maximum that they would otherwise be ready and willing to do for the city. So that's my cautionary concern. What we want to do tonight for the Garden Club, if the Garden Club is okay with it, and we know that legally it's a structure that can work, that's fine. But let's not, I hope this is not already a sign that we're going to just abandon the idea of shared services, which, a couple of years ago was the conclusion that our council reached as a vehicle that would work and would take care of a couple of concerns that are still out there, in terms of how do we legally dedicate or give money to different groups that are performing valuable functions for us? How do we delineate what it is they do? You know, shared services agreement's the way to get there. It's not that complicated, and I just hope we're not abandoning that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Anybody else from council?
I'll just say something real quick. All I want to say is I want to thank Patrizia for stepping up and being the president, and all the active volunteers in the Garden Club that year after year and weekend after weekend tend those beds and do what needs to be done, and like what they have before them tonight, which I agree with. And I just want to say thank you again and compliments to you, especially for the certificates. You don't know how happy that makes some people, including myself. Yeah. But thanks again. Keep up the good work. I really appreciate it.
Anybody else from council? Hearing none?
I got a certificate too, Mike. I just wanted to...
Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
You?
Absolutely, yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
I'm going to abstain for the reasons I stated.
Reardon?
Ooh. Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
When I came to your meeting, I think you guys do an excellent job for the city of Brigantine. Just want you to be safe out there and continue on. And again, I don't think anything's really going to change in the Garden Club. I think you're working with John Doring here, and I think it's just going to make the city better and better. Thank you. Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Okay, ordinance number 17 of 2019, public hearing and adoption amending Charter 284, number 9 of the City Code, vehicles and traffic schedules. Need a first and second, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Anybody from the public wants to talk about this ordinance? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion. Can anybody from the council want to talk about it?
Mayor, did we change this to 200 blocks? The 200 blocks, shouldn't it be on section 2, near the bottom of the page?
That's how we
Parking prohibited at all times?
that's how we ran it last time.
We made a change, actually.
Yeah, that was changed to 3. It's 300 block, you still can't park on the side.
I mean, at the meeting the last time, we actually introduced it
Correct.
with the appropriate number. Now, did we go from 300 to 200?
Oh, okay.
I mean, I just candidly don't know which block was intended, but I know we had a conversation about it, and the intended block was called out, and it was put in the ordinance at that time before it was adopted on first reading. Is it 2 or 3?
No, it's 3. That's 3.
It is 3.
It was originally it said 100 in the original one, so we
And we
changed
made
it
it
to
3.
300.
Oh, is that what it was?
Okay,
Yeah,
with the
right.
collective chief's guidance, we made the change from 100 to 300. This is what it should be.
Okay. Thanks.
We're good.
200 blocks already. One side.
You're going to have no parking on both sides, or no?
No.
You're going to have parking
They say upon Ocean to Greenfield, there's a 300 south side.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because it's one way now.
Any other questions from council? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
You?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2019-154, real estate tax refund. Can I have a first and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Karen, second that.
I'm gonna do it from there.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
You?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
Jalupri?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Going into our consent agenda, Lions Club Antique Car Festival request, VFW raffle license number 894, Gloucester Township Rodeo Foundation raffle license number 895. I need a first and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
You?
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
Jalupri?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Roxanne, this is where we usually, any comments from with the city or anything like that?
Not really, just an update on the bond issuance. Last week, we had our ratings call with Standard & Poor, city manager, auditor, financial advisor, and myself had a very lengthy conversation with the analysts at S&P. It was for about an hour and 15, an hour and 20 minutes, which is pretty long. We shall have their decision tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. And then, just a reminder, we have the sale on the 18th of September for the $20 million.
Great. Well, Karen, you want to
Start
this
off.
little Ward 1?
Okay. First word is, was mosquito-free for a while. And we had some rain. They're back again. Things are moving along nicely out there. I'd also like to welcome Johnny Doring back. Long time. We missed you.
Where's he been?
Hide now.
Never miss me.
And Brigantine Clean Communities and the Department of Public Works is having a family fun beach cleanup Saturday, September 21st. It will be honoring the late Bill Hoff, the late Tom Milhouse, and ACIT Superintendent Phil Gunther. It's a family beach cleanup with, let's see, Lucy the Duck will be there, police bike safety checks. There will be free food, free Ernest and Sons subs, health checks, free limited edition hats, t-shirts. Great, great day. And also that same day, from 9 to 11:30, will be our Clean Community Shredding Truck event. So come on out on the 21st, at 9 o'clock in the morning. Stay as long as you want. Have a great time. And help us clean up the beach. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Karen. Paul?
Everything was quiet over the weekend in the second ward. Of course, the mayor mentioned today the rod was demolished this afternoon. When I left home a little while ago, it was pretty level at that point. But the nice part about it that some onlookers who were there were allowed to go inside and take a memento of their choice, which was kind of nice. People took a bar stool or a plate or some glasses, and that was kind of nice. There were some tears shed, but in all, it was a positive situation.
Okay. Thanks, Paul. Dennis?
Smooth sailing in the third ward. Everything was fine. Nothing really to report. Just want to thank our Public Works Department, our Public Safety, Fire, Police, and our lifeguards for a wonderful, beautiful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Rick?
I share Dennis's sentiments, and I extend that to the whole season. I thank all the departments for doing a great job in getting us through the busy time. Now it's up to us on council to do intelligent things so that next year is easier for everybody. Also would like to join Karen in welcoming back the new and improved John Doring. If in fact he is new and improved.
Did it get any better?
That's kind of the point. And finally, not specific for ward business or council business, but in the interest of maybe putting $1 or $2 in somebody's pocket. People who subscribe to the press, that would be me and like 2 other people, I guess, know that once a year, for 3 or 4 consecutive weeks, the press publishes a special insert which lists the names of everybody in the county who has been identified as having some unclaimed property that is in the control of the state and which can be recovered if you simply apply for it and can verify that you are who you say you are. I think this will be running again on the Friday edition, so invest $1.50 and check out the list. I mention this in part for that reason, but also because I noticed one of the names on the list appears to be the city of Brigantine. So we have some unclaimed property somewhere, which I'm sure Lynn will immediately pursue to recover, and my fee is 15%. Thank you.
Okay, Rick, thanks. Michael?
John, welcome back. Great to have you back. I just got one thing here. The Brigantine Beach Cultural Arts Commission is running their 4th annual Scarecrow Contest from October 1st through October 31st. Right, Joanna? Exhibition. Right, sorry. Exhibition.
Does that mean no wager?
It says, start your plans to join the fun so by October you'll be done. To share your Scarecrow on our tours, because all will love your door decors. So Joanna has plenty of information. I can tell you that Berkshire Hathaway has already started with their plans for the Scarecrows. But this year, the difference is we'd like to see more residents get involved with, Scarecrows on their doors and stuff. So it's a good time, and Joanna, I invite you up in the public portion to come on up and talk a little bit more about it. And also, thanks to all the volunteers that run the Brigantine Beach Cultural Arts Commission. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Vince? Clap for you.
Just 2 things tonight. First thing, as everybody knows, the city's been trying to work to improve its relationships with the DEP. There's been a lot of controversy on the island with their predator management. We had a good initial first 2 meetings. Wanted to let people know the DEP has reached out to the city again. They want to set up a meeting in the next few weeks, probably sometime in September or October, to talk about how we move forward, how we start to work together and improve those relationships. So I think it's a good positive first step, and it really shows that the efforts that this council have made to repair that relationship are being very well received. So that's good. And it's not just about our beaches. We have a number of projects that we work on all over the island with the DEP. So the better we can improve that relationship, the better it is for the whole community. So we're continuing that effort. The other thing, and this isn't something that council has to take action on tonight, but something that's going to come up at the next beach committee meeting. I've met with different representatives from some of the public safety units here in the city and departments. And one of the things they've kind of noted that there's an issue when it comes to responding to emergencies between the jetty and the cove. Sometimes when people are down in that area, they dial 911 and they say, I'm in trouble, I need help, especially if it's a medical emergency, and they say they're at the cove, or they say they're at the jetty. Sometimes they're on the cove side of the jetty, so most of the responders, lifeguards, firemen, police respond to the jetty to find out they're on the cove side. So then they would have to drive off, drive on the path, drive back on to get emergency vehicles in, and sometimes vice versa. Right now, we had an issue, I guess, in the past where some of the fishermen and some of the other people who had 4x4 were actually just trying to jump the little path between the jetty and the cove, and there are barriers set up. One of the concerns that was brought up to me and asked to be addressed at the beach committee was if there's a situation where there's a cardiac arrest, that could present a problem. So every minute that goes by that somebody doesn't receive CPR actually cuts a 10% chance away from their survival. If it takes another 4 or 5 minutes to get that emergency equipment to them, that's a 50% chance that they could lose. So one of the things we want to start to look at is there a way that we can address that issue to make sure that our emergency vehicles can have access to the areas that they need to get through, but also that we don't put an inconvenience on the residents who live there, because it is very encumbering when you have four-wheel drive vehicles driving pretty much through your backyard. So I wanted to make council aware, I wanted to make the public aware that this is a discussion that we're probably going to have. The beach committee will probably make recommendations. We have representatives from police, fire, beach patrol, and public works that are there, so we'll have departments that can weigh in on that, and it's something we're going to start to look into. So I wanted to make council aware that that was out there, and also let the public aware that that situation's out there as well.
Thank you, Vince. Just want to make the city aware of next Wednesday is September 11th, and we all know what happened September 11th. We have a celebration of, was it the first plane that hit, Tiger?
9:55.
Yeah, at 9:55 sharp.
I think that's when the first tower came down.
Yes. Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
9:55 sharp out front in front of the fire department. There's a celebration. It's really moving. So if you guys want to come out, that would be fantastic. Besides that, I mean, we had a great summer in Brigantine. It was busy. Sometimes we had too many people, it seems like. But you know, the golf course seemed like it did well, and all our merchants and restaurants and everything else did really well. So we're going in the right direction. I've got to give you one story as being mayor. I had this lady come up, and she was screaming about her parking ticket, you know, for parking in a crosswalk. You know, it probably was down in your ward there, Paul. She was, I mean, mad. She was screaming and hollering. I said, why'd you park in the crosswalk? I didn't. When I came out of the store, somebody painted the crosswalk underneath my car. I said, ma'am, you got to tell that one to the judge. So that was one of my experiences being mayor this summer. And, you know, and you weren't around, so I would have blamed it on you. So, honest guys, and she was dead serious. Somebody painted the crosswalk under my car while I was in the store. So, okay, I'm going to open the agenda up to anybody.
You know what? Excuse me,
Oh,
Mayor.
sorry.
There's just one update I wanted John to make as far as the
I'm sorry.
preparations for the anticipation of what's coming down from the effects of the hurricane.
Yeah, we're, just so let council know, we removed all the ADA matting off the beach yesterday and today, anticipating some high tides on the front beaches. The beach patrol removed all of their boats and stands that are not going to be in use for the weekend, and we are going to be taking the American flags and banners down before, well, tonight or tomorrow. They're coming down. Just, we're supposed to get some high winds and some high tides. So just to let you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Not talking about the closing the boat ramp yet.
No, we don't close the boat ramp until we get to 7 foot with the high tides. We're supposed to get some high tides on the front beach. I don't see anything in the back.
Okay, good.
But 7 foot is when we do close the boat ramp. So if you're 7 foot, you know it's going to be getting closed. But we will notify far enough out in advance.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anything else?
Will the gate be on in front of the river?
That's what I just asked, and he said no.
Only if the
Not
tide
unless
comes
it
high,
up
high enough.
7 feet, and then it'll...
Then they'll put it on. So, anybody want to come up?
Kathy Ewing, 1005 East Evans. Mr. Serra, Mr. DeLucre, I want to thank you for responding to my emails. Just a little bit of history here. We were all here, pickleball players, in March. It was a real kumbaya moment. We had tennis players with us. We were all going to work together, all do wonderful things over this summer to do Band-Aid repairs on the tennis courts in anticipation of the fall work that would be done on the revamping of the tennis courts and converting some of those courts to pickleball courts. It's now near the fall, not quite the fall. We have not had any correspondence from anyone regarding the status of that. what's happening. So I just thought I'd go back over what we talked about then. We were told the city was going to apply for a grant to fund the project, and work would begin in the fall. But in the meantime, as I said, they would do repairs. At that time, we asked that lines be drawn on 2 of the courts so that we can play pickleball. Immediately after the meeting, I followed up with an email offering to help with dimensions, whatever they needed. Again, no response. Since our meeting in March, I just want to give you a heads up on what our neighbors have done. In Ventnor, they added 4 courts to their existing 2. In Margate, they added 3 courts to their existing 3. Ocean City has added awnings and seating for their 17 pickleball courts. In Brigantine, we were unsuccessful in getting lines drawn on our courts. The reason we were given was that the courts were, the city had applied for a grant that was for tennis only and included nothing for pickleball. That was the reason we were given. So the options we were given was to draw chalk lines every time we wanted to play. We did that for a while, but every time we played, the chalk lines, of course, if it would go away if it rained. I asked, after a very heated discussion with Jim Mogan and with someone at Public Works, if we could paint the lines ourselves or tape the lines. And we were told we were to do nothing because that was for tennis only and pickleball was not included. So after that heated discussion and a tantrum on my part, we were able to tape the lines. We purchased the tape, provided the labor, just as we did last year. There was no measuring involved, there was nothing involved but just giving lines for us to play pickleball. We had people out there every morning and many afternoons this year playing. At this time, we're going to repeat again. We would like to be included in whatever plans you have. We have no idea what those plans are, but we hope that we get some information, and we would like to invite you to a meeting of the tennis and pickleball players to really give us the details of what you're planning, what the funding is, what the expected outcome is, and let us have some input so that whatever we get is not obsolete by the time we get it. So that you make good use of the resources, the space, and whatever other things you have that we can take part in. One of our players even jokingly or half-jokingly said, maybe we need a GoFundMe page. I don't think that Brigantine should have to have people taping lines, drawing lines with chalk to play a sport that is popular in every seashore community and every surrounding area. So I'll ask you outright, is there any update, any information that you can give us on this project?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking anybody.
Okay. I directed our city engineer today to get pricing on it. I have Howard's phone number, Howard Saracusa's phone number.
And he's who?
He was one of the folks out here last time. I told him I would deal with him, bring him out, show him the place we're looking at, and then he can get back to your group.
Well, again, he's not part of our group, and that's what we're trying to tell you.
This was the last person that came up.
And he represented the tennis court group.
Okay. Well,
and so our problem is we don't have anyone communicating with anyone on the pickleball side. Now, if you're talking about converting courts to pickleball courts...
No, I'm not. I didn't say
what
that.
Okay, well, what are you...
I'm talking about giving you 4 courts. Brand new ones.
Where?
I can't tell you that right now.
Okay, well, is this going to be a secret for a very long time?
Well, if we're going to...
I mean, I'm 75. I'm running out of pickleball time.
Well played. I get it. But we're talking about probably $200,000 to $300,000.
I know.
We got 10,000 people in this town. I got to take care of everybody.
I know you do.
Okay, so I'm willing to do something, but I have to make sure this one piece of ground's available. And then if you're the contact person, I'll contact you.
Great.
We'll get together, and this is the committee right here. There's no
well, it was very
outside
discouraging.
committee. These 7 people in this will make a decision, and that lady over there, hopefully she'll give us the money, and we'll go from there.
It was very discouraging when our people came back in August, and there was the reaction that I got from from
Well,
people.
Howard was supposed to be the one I was contacting.
No, we never said Howard. Howard
Yep.
was tennis.
I got,
That was the tennis players, yes.
Okay.
I agree.
and they were talking about pickleball. And
No, they were talking about tennis. They were talking about a grant
I got a
for
text.
tennis.
All right, well, message.
And as I said, when I went to Public Works to say, we will paint the lines ourselves if that's what it takes, I was told we were to do nothing on those courts because they were for tennis only, pickleball was not included.
Correct. And that's why I don't want the tennis people with the pickleball people, because then there's going to be a division there. So I'm trying to find a piece of ground right now to give you guys 4 courts. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Well, I appreciate that, but it would have been nice to
you have to
know that.
understand, this is government. This isn't me building something. I can go out and use my money and do it.
I understand.
I have 6 other people on this council that I have to talk to.
And you
John,
have constituents you have to talk to, too, because we don't know what's happening if you don't tell us.
This is the first time not to be, in your 75 years, you've been talking to me. So,
No, we were here in August. We were here in March.
well, the August was the person, I was talking to Howard. Howard says he'll be the point person.
No. Well,
That's
if somebody-
exactly what happened.
I would just ask you to look at the pickleball side as a separate entity.
That's
We
what I-
all want to work together.
Exactly what I did.
You did, but you didn't communicate to the pickleball people. You were talking to the tennis people, who are not the same people.
Give me your phone number, and I'll communicate.
I
with you.
have already done that, and I will be
You've
happy to
never
do it
given me-
again.
Never, not to me.
Okay. Yes, it was on all the paperwork that I gave you in March.
Right, well.
Can I say something?
Okay, yeah, well, Mike, I was just going to say, as a member of the, being on the Recreation Board, I was in contact with the mayor and Roxanne about a couple things. It's not forgotten, ma'am. If you will, it's still not so much in an exploratory phase, but we still have to have the proper site plan for it, make sure it's going to be in an area where we're going to have the right drainage. I think in pickleball, normally it's like a north-south orientation they want, correct me if I'm wrong, that's what I've read. So it's not... It's certainly not forgotten, but like the mayor alluded to, we have to, we have to lay things out first and just do it in a
I understand that.
workmanlike
But isn't it
manner
also
within the city, within our budget and all the bonds
Sure,
we just
absolutely.
approved.
And that's why we came in March and asked you to keep in communication with us, and we've heard nothing.
It's not forgotten, though. That's my point.
Well,
There is money allotted. We just
it's
voted.
hard
we
to
just voted
believe
on that.
it's not
You have to
forgotten.
give us just a little bit of time to get the wheels are moving.
Okay, and just all we need is, we're still working on it, we're doing something, but to be told that we can do nothing because what you're working on is for tennis only, where does that leave us?
No.
I don't think we ever said anything.
You didn't say that. No, you didn't say that.
And I might add, I'm sorry, I just want to say I was talking to Vince, too. I didn't want to leave Vince out. I'm sorry.
The problem that you're not realizing, that they did apply to the tennis board to try to get funding, and they said to us, absolutely not. We will not fund pickleball.
Right.
We'll fund tennis courts, but we won't fund.
But we didn't ever hear
So
that from you.
kinda cut us off at the knees at that point.
I
Now
think we
we're in
said that.
Plan B.
John got sick.
Yeah.
And listen, if I could just say something, Kathy, I know it's very frustrating.
Oh.
Because when you see the pickleball courts going up in all the other towns around the shore communities and offshore, it is frustrating that we don't have the pickleball courts here yet. But I can assure you, especially since no lines have been drawn, we can move forward, and that the pickleball courts are coming. I do believe in the meeting in August, the mayor did say with our new bond that we approved for improvements in the city for $20 million, that we were going to see if it would be possible. Is that?
No, that's not. That's
Okay,
not.
all right,
that
so
wasn't-
that's not, all right, so, anyway.
To make up $20 million in bonds, we don't sit here in 5 minutes and make it up. That took a year to do. And it took a long time. And no disrespect, I didn't even know what pickleball was. And then Howard came, talked to me. Now you're coming to talk to me. I thought I was dealing with Howard. I can't deal with 100 people because we'll never get it
No,
done.
you can't. And
I'll deal with you, Kathy, that's
Okay,
fine.
That's fine.
But
And just so you know...
But then I have to deal with 6 other people, and I
Right.
have to deal with Roxanne, and to get $300,000 up.
And
That's a lot of
listen,
money.
just to finish what I was going to say
Sure.
is that I can also tell you that there has been a lot of discussion about this. And
that's great.
Something's going to
That's
happen.
great.
But
Except
until
we don't
something's
know that.
concrete, it's just hearsay. So I'm sure the mayor's going to, when something's concrete...
I don't want to
that
tell
he
you
will let
something
know.
that doesn't happen.
No, I know that.
And I could probably...
That's my biggest thing.
It's probably a good bet also that the pickleball courts are going to be in the community center area, and we're not going to put them on the north side of the Birdwatch Tower up on the north end.
Wherever.
Okay?
At this point, as long as we don't have to draw lines and put up nets, we don't really care. But I will tell you that this didn't just happen in March either. We actually submitted our first proposal to Jim Mogan in 2017 to look into getting pickleball courts. This didn't just come up, and we don't expect this to all magically happen since March. But what we do expect to have happen is some communication. Just communication.
I have no problem
Even if the answer is, no, we're not going to do it.
Right.
To know that at least gives us some feeling that you heard us, you know what
But
we
I don't
want,
want to tell
and you
you
just aren't going
something
to do it.
that I have to go back on my word. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure this thing is rock solid, and I already talked to the city engineer, like I said, today. I had a meeting with him, asked him to give us a price on 4 pickleball courts. 4 of them. Because I've been in EHT looking theirs, and I looked down there at in Margate. So,
Just a
again,
suggestion, but, you know, Ed Stinson, who's now in Ventnor, Ventnor started out with 2 pickleball courts. I mentioned that when I was here in March, and that was really a mistake on their part because they put them right next to tennis courts, which made no one happy. Now they had to go back and put in 4 more courts. My concern is that by the time you decide what you're going to do, it will already become obsolete, or it will be completely wrong if you don't have input from the right people. Tennis people are great people, I'm not putting them down, but they have a different sport and a different idea and a different agenda than we do. So we just asking to be communicated with. And
Kathy, you give me your phone number.
I will.
Will communicate with you. I'll give you an update once a week.
Great.
But I want to make sure this piece of property is available.
Great.
And we can get this property. I will take you down there personally.
All right.
And we'll look at it. You give me the thumbs up.
Great.
And we'll get the pricing, you know, but it's all layers. You know, I get to get the pricing, and I go to this young lady over here and say, hey, it's going to be X amount of dollars. Can we find the funding for it?
I know it's expensive. I know it is, but I think you'll find
But I want to do it right.
an investment in
I don't
the
want
city.
you to be painting lines. I don't want you to be taping lines. I don't want you to do all that. I want it to be done right.
Right. Everything that has been done for
Everybody,
pickleball...
everything we want to do in Brigantine, we want to do it right.
Right.
I want the garden club to do all the beds. Beautiful. I want the city to shine, you know. Just like anything I ever did in my life, that's what I want.
Yeah, and to say, we're not expecting this to be done overnight, but we do want to be included in the planning so that it's done right.
That's not a problem. But
And thank you again, Mr. Sarah.
I can't have 30 people coming up with 30
Nope.
different ideas.
Nope. At 2, 1 from tennis and 1 from pickleball will
There
be
you go.
enough. Okay? Mr. DeLucre and Mr. Sarah, thank you very much for responding to my emails. And I'll try not to bother you for another week or so.
I look forward to all the pictures. Thank you.
If I could, Kathy, I would have told you more if I knew more, but apparently I'm learning for the first time tonight from some of the comments of my fellow council people that a plan was already devised by someone that there would be 4 courts and that they would be at a location specific enough that the engineers being sent out to scout it, none of which was discussed in my presence, none of which was discussed at any of the meetings. So I'm not sure how decision-making is being made, but whatever is happening, you got Kathy's number.
When you make
Don't
a phone
lose,
call,
don't lose my
sometimes
number.
when you call us, Rick, which is never,
Right,
maybe
Mike.
you know some stuff. So don't
Council
just sit-
business
no,
doesn't
no.
get done because
Don't sit there
you
and
want to...
insult us that you're not included when you don't communicate with us.
Mike, do you have any idea how council works?
Don't make a statement when you don't communicate with us.
It is not my job to call
That's
you,
Rick.
Mike Reardon.
That's it. You don't...
Council's
listen to me.
business is not a council
knock it off,
meeting.
guys.
Thank you.
Everybody would be included in up in the council. I just said that. As soon as I have this location, we'll discuss it. Anybody else from...
Just going to follow up with this. Joanne Mills McDonald Place, Brigantine Beach Cultural Arts Commission. Okay, we have, in the past 3 years, we had a scarecrow contest. In order to provide the people of our community through the year, we're looking to do things for the whole community, and we invite residents, we invite the organizations, we invite city council, we invite businesses to create a scarecrow to put out on our fall theme, because the scarecrows are coming. And it's a way to keep us going for our Halloween parades, and again, to keep our city alive on our off-season. Okay, there will be, this is the first ad that was out there, there will be a newsletter or an article next Friday. The application will come the end of September, and then October 1st, have your scarecrows or your houses decorated. They'll be included on a map so that we can invite everybody to see all the different neighborhoods of our lovely island. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Anybody else? Street Chief.
Look, there's somebody found in the road.
Patricia Violante, 239 12th Street South. I forgot to mention something, a new project that the Garden Club undertook with the approval of Mr. Doring, with his blessing, let me add. If you go around the island and you see trees that have a red ribbon around them...
We were wondering about that.
Yes. It's a memorial tree. So it's a living spirit of someone from Brigantine who loved Brigantine or whose family decided to plant the tree with the help of the Garden Club. We're trying to identify all those trees, and if possible in a second stage, because many may have moved away or passed away, we'd like to try and contact these people to remind them that their tree is still alive, if it is. Some of the trees were lost with Sandy, so that's what we're doing. So if you see a red tree, a red ribbon around a tree, it's a living spirit. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for clearing that up. We saw them, I'm trying to think of where it was. We saw them and we were wondering what they were. Yeah, thanks.
I had the record until you started talking. Anybody else from the public? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion. Well, it's been a little experience tonight, but I want everybody to remember 9/11. Next Wednesday, it's a moving ceremony. Tiger and his fire department, and they do a great job over there with the bell and everything. It's I've been there for the last 5 years, I guess, 8 years or whatever, and it's at 9:55 sharp a.m. Well, I'm going to need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anybody want to stay around?
I will.
Thank you. Watching your council at work. Thank you, and have a great night.